So in this example, how that actually works, this is Jimmy Choo. I know we're all customers. If a customer has been to their site, after searching for, say, designer handbags, and they revisit again on the brand term, you can offer them, for instance, a voucher code or something. You can personalize and give them something bespoke because you've collected that audience signal, you've segmented them into a group, and then you started to engage with them based on that audience signal. So the thing here, I think, with regards to people coming from this search background is obviously search has always been about keywords. And in the world of audience, it's about cookies. So it's thinking about keywords and cookies. And the future, I think, is really where you've been amazing experts in keywords, also now having to think about expertise in cookies. And that gives you the opportunity with, say, contextual targeting to reach people at the right time in the right place. But through cookie-based expertise, deliver the right audience with the right interest and the right demographic. And it works. So don't just take my word for it. This was presented at the IB Leadership Summit, I think just a couple of months ago. And what they did here is they looked at, these aren't average results, but these are the very, very best results from around about 500 kind of cases that they looked at across globally. Okay. The first example is the best result they saw for somebody using contextual signals. Then on top of that, the best result they saw for demographic signals, behavioral signals, and then all signals combined, they see this kind of amazing, amazing result. So I think it's fair to say that the opportunity in this area is great, and it's something you definitely should be testing. So you can start to get some of these learnings for yourself. And just a last thought on this idea is you've got 3 people searching for BMW convertible. This person in the middle has been to your website. Okay? Now, if you know that makes that person so much more valuable to you because you know that they've already engaged. You may be prepared to, send that person something a little bit more personalized because you want to move them down the funnel. Or you might want to bid higher for that person because you particularly want to have access to them. But if you don't know that person has been to your website because you're not collecting that audience signal, you're not listening for it, then you don't have an opportunity to engage in it, and you're effectively giving an advantage to your competitors if they are doing that. So I do think it's an important area to be thinking about. So a little bit about on the engagement side of things, and thinking here about dynamic creative. So never showed the same ad twice. It's kind of a nice little kind of headline, but you can use audience signals as well to really, and then also using the technology that's available to give kind of creative optimization on the fly. I was in a meeting this week where we were reviewing a campaign for a client that just run a dynamic campaign, and they'd run 1,000 different creatives executions on one tag. So real opportunity to personalize and create some interesting kind of ideas around this. And again, it can work. I threw this in there as well because sometimes we think about audience-based advertising as being just on the DR side of things, but it also can work very well for brand advertisers as well. There's actually a US example, but Kellogg's, I don't know if you've seen some of their articles, but their CMO has been quite active in the press, talking about how they've heavily invested in real-time bidding and audience buying as part of their overall strategy. And what they're doing, Kellogg's aren't trying to sell stuff on their website, obviously, but what they are doing is using audience-based signals to dynamically serve ads to different audience types. So they don't send different ads at different times of the day, based on gender, on location, and so on and so forth, and also on device. And as a result of that, they're seeing a kind of 5 times improvement on ROI based on in-store sales, which they track through their econometrics. So some really kind of interesting results there. So closing kind of thoughts. What we're saying is really think about your data firstly. Do you have a good strategy for getting your data? Because if you add your data to really good audience signals, it gives you the opportunity to reach the right people with the right message at the right time, and that ultimately is where we're trying to go with advertising and what you're trying to achieve. I've mentioned this a couple of times through, but I'm just going to reassert this. Firstly, this is a kind of good question for yourself coming out of today. Do you currently collect audience signals? Have you got a good kind of tag management solution on your website, that allows you to collect audience data for people that come to your site? Because if you do have that, you can then really start to think about audience segmentation, putting those people into different buckets based on how they interact with your brand. And once you then have segments, you can start to engage with that audience, and then actually you're kind of really using audience data to drive your advertising. So that's it from me. Hopefully it wasn't overly technical. I think I used one acronym, which wasn't too bad. Key message basically is really think about collect, segment, and engage better, because audience is the future of performance advertising, and I really think it's an exciting place to be testing.